Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Baumeister.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob, we've taken all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. We are going to be playing some Historic for y'all all week this week because it's such a big part of the Zendikar Rising Championship last weekend. And we also have a Call-Time Championship qualifier via the SCG Tour Online coming up this weekend that is featuring the Historic format. So big week for this format for everybody to get into it. Just to remind all of you, that Call-Time Championship qualifier is going to be Sunday. If you want to play in it, you got to be playing in the flights on Friday and Saturday. There's 4 a day. Those are 6 rounders. If you go 4 and 2, you qualify for the Sunday event. Each win beyond the 4th in one of those will get you a bye on the Sunday tournament, which are super valuable because those tend to be 9 or 10 rounds of Swiss. The first couple have been. They've been big events. So
yeah, no kidding.
Those buys super helpful.
Yeah, you just get to play Ross Merriam. If you win one of those rounds, you just get the bye right away. So it does help to have that easy round to start.
It really does.
Yeah, it's going to be a historic week, man. It's going to be a historic week. Chirp, chirp, chirp. All right, so the first matchup we wanted to start with is the rematch of the Zendikar Rising Championship, and that was Goblins against AZORIUS Control that went 12-0. Mind blown. Mind blown.
Brad Barkley really just one of the more impressive runs in a major tournament that I can remember.
Yeah.
And was impressive doing it the entire way through. Definitely a deck that was on very few people's radar, if any, going into the tournament.
Yeah.
And it did not do particularly well outside of Brad.
Yeah, pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, not played by many people, and the records of the people that did play it, not particularly good.
It was 15-25 for the people that were not named Brad Barkley, and Brad was 12-0.
Yeah. So it goes to show you that, sometimes it's the player that makes the deck and not the deck that makes the player.
Yeah.
Brad's list, innovative in a few key ways. Most importantly, the main deck copies of Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah.
Certainly a card that is on a lot of people's radar. Probably the most common sideboard card in the entirety of the Historic metagame.
Definitely.
In a metagame where there's Muxus, the entirety of the Rakdos Sacrifice or Rakdos Arcanist deck, Collected Company in Mono Green, and the Jund Sacrifice decks.
And even Uro for Sultai. It really hits everything. So
all important cards in a deck like Azorius Control that is trying to go long. The graveyard is such a huge resource for its opponents because that's an easy way to generate card advantage and to grind into a long game. So just shutting it down doesn't stop any of your stuff. We're not playing Snapcaster Mage. You're not playing Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah.
Some of the cards that have in other formats seen play in Azorius Control decks, not in the Historic version of it for either not being in the format or not being good enough. So Grafdigger's Cage, a really nice free roll there, and was really important for Brad in a lot of game ones.
It really was. And me and Monty were pretty much making fun of Azorius Control before the tournament, and we were getting ready. We're like, why would you ever not just put green in and play Uro? And Brad made us eat our words there in that for sure. So shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Right.
So I've got marbles over there, so I'm going to be on the play.
Oh, yeah.
With Autumn Burchett's Goblin list, another innovative deck list for a deck that otherwise did not do particularly well. I think Goblins won under 50% of his matches overall, or right around 50%.
Yeah, it wasn't great either, but Autumn obviously just crushed it, played it masterfully the whole weekend. And
they had the introduction of Herald's Horn as this really nice, threat that generates card advantage, also helps you with your curve because the deck's curve is pretty high, so the cost reduction is really nice, and it's something that you can extend to the battlefield that doesn't get swept up in creature removal and all this other stuff. Yeah,
it was so good against Sultai too, just really no removal for it. The Azorius deck has some ways, with Cast Out and Teferi's -3 and stuff, but against Sultai, the public enemy #1 for that tournament, it was so good. And it looked just insane on all weekend.
And the deck that filled the other 6 slots in the top 8, right? It was Sultai or 4-color midrange.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky with the top 8 with the Goblins and Azorius deck doing a lot of the winning to break up those mirror matches a lot. So that was nice for us, to say the least.
Clearly the Sultai deck was the big winner from the weekend, and 4-color, which are very close archetypes.
Agreed.
It came down to those decks really dominating the expected field, and the people that were really able to come out on top were the two people
that beat it.
Two people that were able to figure out how to take a deck that was normally behind and flip the script and be like, okay, we're going to innovate, change 5 or 10 cards, and that's going to give me an edge in this matchup.
Exactly, because Sultai can't change too much. You can have your flex slots change a little bit, play a Gust in the main or something, but that's not huge. They're going to be doing the same thing. So, all right, how's your hand?
It's a little slow, but I think that's fine in this matchup.
Yeah, mine's a little awkward as well, but definitely not mulliganing this.
I'm going to be starting on a Shatter Skull.
Okay.
Let that one enter tapped.
Alrighty.
Turn.
I just have a farmland passed to you.
What you growing on that farmland?
Oh, just, all kinds of wheat, maybe some barley.
I like barley. Gonna malt some of that barley.
Get some hops going.
Yeah. Play a mountain and pass the turn.
All right, I got to draw. Oh, hello. Land go.
Got another mountain.
Okay.
Got a Goblin War Chief.
I would like to censor that. Would you like to pay 1?
Yes, I would.
Too bad. Okay, I'm gonna take 2.
18.
And I'm going to pass. I'm going to be doing a lot of draw go for my side.
And I think this is mainly going to be about drawing out counter spells on the right turn. So the key is to try to, know your opponent's deck list enough to know what is the turn that they want you to not play something and force them to counter so that they can start generating card advantage. You're doing that with Teferi. I know in standards past, it was always that turn 4, like Hieroglyphic Illumination or Glimmer of Genius.
Yep.
You often wanted to not do anything on turn 3 if your hand was a little threat light. And
then do it on 4 so you can't draw cards. Yeah, that was pretty common.
But I don't think that's going to be the same dynamic here.
Yeah.
What is going to be important is for me to be able to develop some sort of battlefield so that I can pressure a turn 5 Teferi.
Yep.
So I'm going to be casting my spells.
Good call. Good call.
The only question then is which one?
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's go with Krenko.
Cranky? Well, can't beat that card if that resolves, so let's get rid of that. I'll go to 21.
4 Wrath of Gods in your deck.
That's true. That's true.
You're 21. You can go.
All right.
Can't possibly beat a creature in my 4 Wrath of God deck.
It makes so many creatures, though.
No wonder you don't like blue-white control.
Yeah. No, this is a tough spot.
You have to believe, Corey.
You have to believe. I think this isn't the worst turn to be playing something.
If there's a common thread among dedicated control players, it's that they all have faith.
Yeah.
Greg Orange, Shaheen Sarani, they have absolute conviction in their control decks.
100%. Even Greg Orange, I think, was playing that instead of a control deck.
Okay,
Shocking.
that's just not.
That was nonsense, right?
I just assume that's not Greg Orange.
Yeah, right.
He's been abducted and replaced by some sort of...
It's an imposter.
Yeah, like replicant or something.
I'm going to go with a Narset. We're going to get something on the battlefield here. Activate. Okay. Got some good hits here. I think it's probably safest to just pick this. It's probably the most powerful card. Yeah, we'll just get a Wrath of God and I'll pass to you. Bring your creatures on. Oops. Whipping my cards around. All right, what you got, Mr. Ross Merriam?
I have a Goblin Matron.
Okay, that resolves. What you gonna get? The King of the Goblins? Skirk Prospector?
I am going to get the card that will allow me to attack down a Teferi.
Okay.
And Goblin Chieftain.
That's a good one.
I also have a wily goblin.
Oh, you wily little goblin, you.
I'll get me a treasure token.
Okay.
I'll pass the turn.
Alrighty. I'm going to draw. Did not want to draw that magic card. Let's see what else we got. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter which one of these I want, but I basically just want to cycle it. Even right away here. Yeah, we'll just cycle Censor. Then I will play a land and pass to you.
How many cards you got over there?
I have 6. What's it to you?
And one of them's a Wrath?
One of them's a Wrath.
Okay, Chieftain.
Let's see. Chieftain here represents a ton of damage, so I should probably try to control this. Yeah, I'm going to absorb.
Brings you to 24.
24.
Okay, I'll send Matron at Narset and Wily Goblin at you.
Narset is down. I go to 23.
3, then I'll play Mountain and pass the turn.
All right. Untap. Okay, pretty scripted turn here. Let's play the powerful Planeswalker. I'll draw a magical card. Play a land tap. Untap 2 lands. Your go.
Okay.
Here he is.
Let's play Mountain and leave Castle untapped in case I hit like multiple Wily Goblins, I guess.
Yeah, that resolves.
It's top 6 cards.
6, and you get all of them. This game could just be 100% over, and I'm at 23.
Well, we only hit 2 cards.
Okay.
One of them is Goblin Chieftain.
That's a good one.
The other one is Matron. So I get Prospector. Are you dead? So this is already going to be an 8 with these. It's a 9 with Chieftain. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 17. Prospector essentially represents 3 more because it pumps the Muxus 1 more. So that's only 20, and you're at 23. So I needed to hit 1 more Goblin.
Yep.
If that is the case, then I'm going to get Wrath next turn, which means I should just be setting up.
Okay.
Maybe I should just get another Matron. That way, based on what you do in addition to the Wrath, I can figure out whatever else to do.
Decisions.
Yeah, I actually kind of like just getting another Matron.
Okay.
And
Get your demonic tutor.
so this is effectively going to be 17. I'm going to want to send 5 at Teferi, so I actually have to send a 6. So I'll send these 3 at Teferi and these. Well, oh no, you could have. What can you have for interaction? You had Wrath.
Come seal away. Come seal away.
This thing can seal away?
Oh, yeah. Lots of them. Can't play Teferi Hero of Dominaria without being able to untap 2 lands and stop an attacker.
Oh, my God. In order to play around Seal Away, I have to send so much at Teferi. And I'm definitely getting Wrath.
Dilemma. Tricky spot for sure.
Yeah. In order to, like, I can't just send an extra 2 because then you can still just hit Chieftain and Teferi only takes 3. So I effectively have to send everything but 2 damage at Teferi in order to definitely deal with it. So that's a sacrifice of 9 damage. 9 damage, worth playing around, seal away. Not sold that it is. Nah, screw it.
This a Teferi, these are these? All right.
Okay.
What did I take here?
You take 11.
11, okay.
Brings you to 12.
Down
That
to
was
12.
almost the greatest Jedi mind trick in this studio.
Done?
Yeah. I'm still not entirely sold that this deck has seal away in it.
There is one within 75 cards.
Got him.
I watched a lot of this tournament.
Yeah, I don't really have a choice here. I have to Wrath. Didn't pick up what I wanted to here, so I will just pass. Phyrexian Tower. Amuxus! Alright, it resolves. Spin, spin, spin. Let's get all your chieftains somewhere else, please.
Jesus Christ.
Just snoop, there it is. Okay, we like that. Revealed, okay. Prospector.
And a mountain.
Alright.
Pass the turn.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry. End step, I forgot. I gotta cycle this.
Sure.
Okay, that was an excellent draw. I will Wrath. Play. Do I want to play this farmland? Yeah, I think so. And then I'll pass to you.
Draw this mountain, play this matron.
I will Aether Gust that.
That's disgusting. And put on top.
All right.
You're up.
Untap. Now I will play everyone's favorite 3-mana Planeswalker. Try to find some
My favorite 3-mana Planeswalker is Dominaid.
Oh, yeah? So 2 good cards here. Just which one I like more? I think the main way I lose is Muxus, and I guess both effectively shut down Muxus, so it's not the biggest of deals. Let's get a Cage. And we'll play it. And pass to you.
Play Goblin Matron.
Yeah, so what can you get that I don't want to see? Whatever. I'll just absorb. I'll go to 15.
You're up.
Channeling my inner Brad Barkley here. I will activate. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing it. Man, I love Azorius control. This is just way too fun. Teferi. Draw a magical card. We'll play a value Cage. Untap 2 lands and pass to you. What is this?
Shadow Skull Smashing for 6 on the 2 Planeswalkers.
Yeah, not having that. 18.
You can go.
Okay. A draw. Actually, do I want to scry first? I do want interaction.
There's not a ton of interaction left in your deck, given that you've played 4 Absorbs and your 1 Gust.
Yeah, that is a lot. Nah, we'll just draw. And then I will play this, and I'm going to tap 2 at my end step, untap. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Make an 8/8 Shark.
8 Shark. Pass to you. Big old shark.
Kirk Prospector.
Equally powerful. Done.
Yep.
All right. Shark, shark, shark. This time I think I want to scry. See if I can find anything. Scry 2. Bottom. Draw a card. Play a land. Play a Search for Azcanta. Attack for 8.
12.
And untap 2 lands and pass to you.
A Wily Goblin.
Oh, yeah. It's like my top decks are slightly better than yours.
Trigger on the stack.
Yes.
Concede.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, the game 1 cages are really tough to deal with. I believe you have, Goblin Trashmaster
Yeah.
in the board, and that card is pretty nice against it. You don't want to bring in, a Braid. That's too much of a cost, but the Trashmaster always look pretty good.
You also have Crater Maker.
Yeah, that's true. Just creatures that are already okay.
Yeah.
But a Braid is not okay except for the cage, so...
Yeah, you can't, maybe if you had some weird cheap creatures of any to deal with, but when you don't, you can't just bring in a Braid when it only deals with Cage in a matchup where you need to be the proactive one.
100%. I totally agree. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for our first game here on Versus Live. We're going to head to sideboarding between Mono Red Goblins and Azorius Control. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Mono Red Goblins and Azorius Control. On my side, the card I certainly want to cut is Krenko. I'm leaving 1 in as a tutor target. Not even sure that that's right, but it seems fine. Bringing in a ton of sources of card advantage between the extra Herald's Horns, a couple Ringleaders, and the 1 Chandra. And then, as we mentioned before the break, a couple answers to Craftinger's Cage and Goblin Trashmaster and Goblin Crater Maker. I'm also cutting Wily Goblin. I don't think accelerating into big threats is the name of the game here because Wrath of God cleans them up so efficiently and so easily.
Yeah, unless you can win with Muxus, yeah. And you were close. You were really close to just killing me.
Oh, yeah.
If you had 1 more Goblin, I was just dead, That's how close that game truly was, but yeah.
Yeah, that sort of turned on a dime. And then Wily Goblin, just the sort of worst top deck later in the game. I think it's the worst piece of acceleration of the deck, so that's the cut.
All right, and I'm bringing in my 1 Seal Away. Gotcha. As well as Shatter the Sky, Disdainful Stroke, and Essence Scatter. These just being answers to Muxus. In
particular, 2-mana answers to Muxus.
Yeah,
you can go Teferi plus counter your Muxus.
That's really what Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, was all about. Whenever you did that, and you protected Teferi with untapping 2 lands, it's the same with Nissa, right? That's the power of Nissa. If you can untap a Breeding Pool and have Gust or whatever, that's how these Planeswalkers get out of hand.
Overgrown Tomb of Noxious Grasp, any 2-mana interaction.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. And speaking of just big picture stuff here, so far, I mean, I'm not going to curse myself yet, but I don't think Azorius Control has ever won on this battlefield. So we're gonna try to channel our inner Brad Barkley here and take you down. And for what we're taking out here, Shark Typhoon and Narset, trimming on both of these, both of them not really excellent. I do got to have ways to kill you, so I got to leave some Sharks in. And then Narset, really not that effective on the draw. Still leaving 1 in, though, because it can work out decently. Taking out 1 cast out, and normally we think, what are we doing taking out a Cage against the Goblin deck? I saw Brad do it, so I'm copying him, but I also thought it was kind of weird, so I'm deferring to the person who went 12-0 with the deck.
Isn't that another common trait among the control players? They always do something a little weird that you just don't expect. You're like, really?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I guess they're the ones that do this all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not going to question them.
Except Shaheen Sarani, I question all of his decision making. So
yeah, but that's non-Magic related. You just question his regular decisions.
That's true. Just
what he has for lunch. Like, he's really going to have a hot dog with relish on it?
Yeah, I call him on breaks. Be like, really, dude? Are you going to go with that? Come on. All right, Rob, do you got any questions from our lovely audience?
I do.
Ooh.
First up from Leo the Magic Man. What do you think about Ben Stark's Rogues list from this past weekend?
I think he submitted it for the wrong format. No, I mean, it seemed way too underpowered to me. I don't actually know how he did, but I'm assuming not that great. But
we didn't really hear his name a lot over the weekend. That's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what you're trying to target with that kind of deck. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about it because I just don't think it was very good. What do you think? Did you see it?
I didn't see it in play, but I agree. It does strike me as a deck that would be underpowered relative to the rest of Historic.
Yeah.
So you do get access to Thoughtseize. I assume he was playing that.
I would assume as well, yeah.
So that's nice. Like, if I'm playing Historic, I want to be playing one of the, Jumpstart or however different ways the powerful cards have been injected into the format. I want to be playing one or more of those kinds of cards.
Yeah.
Flexing Tower, Muxus, Thoughtseize, Pact Negation.
Yeah, and one
like
thing I
that.
know about Ben, just from being friends with him, is just for every constructed tournament, he finds some way to play not a good deck and just play some interesting take on a deck instead of just playing a good deck, right? Like, he would probably do a lot better, especially on Pro Tours where Limited was involved, because he's, a good Limited player. If he just play a safe, strong constructed deck, he'd probably be fine, but always is in the market to play something new and fun, kind of like Yo Larson, that's special. But yeah, I don't think it was great. I just can't picture what deck it's targeting, so that's got to be an answer right there. Like, I don't think it'd even be very good against Sultai.
Yeah, the fact that the Thieves Guild Enforcer and
Soaring Thought Thief, yeah.
Thought Thief, there we go. The fact that those creatures don't match up very well against either the removal that people are playing, like, everybody has Fatal Push, or the creatures people are playing, it just doesn't, like, that. I think that's a key part to Rogues being good.
Yeah, Fatal Push is definitely a bad news bears for Rogues. And just think about Mayhem Devil against that. Like, that doesn't seem great.
Yeah.
Goblins, maybe it'd actually be pretty good against. You're countering, and then you get to play threats. If you expect that, I think that could be decent. But you don't have any ways to catch up on the battlefield either. But anyways, one more question. It's been a while since we've talked to our lovely chat.
All right, our old pal Hysteus.
Oh, what up?
A slight spoiler for Thursday deck, I think you have lined up.
Yep.
He wanted to know, what do you think about the Sultai Paradox engine deck? Is it too fragile given its reliance on the graveyard for its combo?
Fan me down. And no, I really don't think so. But yeah, I got to pay Hysteus under the table for that sweet plug in advance, because I did my dropping bombs on that deck, and we're going to play it on Thursday, like Rob was alluding to. I think the deck is super awesome. They did pretty well. I know Kai went 5-1, and I think Yol went 4-2, but they just didn't do too great in Standard. But I was surprised by actually how resilient it is. And here's the thing: if there were ley lines and rest in pieces aplenty, it wouldn't be great, because then you're doing what Dredge had to do, and that was like, do nothing the first few turns until you like Maelstrom Pulse or something, and then you would take a full turn or two to set up, and then maybe you start killing them. And that's just too slow in this format where it's very fast and proactive. So if those kind of hate cards become really popular, then I think the deck is a little bit too like Dredge. But since those cards aren't out there, and that deck isn't really on the radar for anyone because it didn't top 8, people think so much. Like, if your deck didn't top 8, it's not good. But in split formats, you could have just did terrible in Standard.
You got to look between the noise that happens. To me, that deck looks squarely in the category of, this is an interesting deck that I would consider playing in a metagame that I absolutely know is unprepared for it.
Yes.
And that isn't paying attention to it. But if people are paying attention to it and are bringing hate cards, then I don't think it's going to stand up to that.
Yeah.
So it really just needs to be, it's an opportunistic choice. And so I think it was a fine choice for last weekend. As Corey noted, the two people playing it did reasonably well. So we'll see, if it becomes a significant force at all moving forward now that people know about it, and if we see any sort of reaction from the metagame. But as soon as I start to see that, I would be off that deck immediately.
Agreed. And it's another deck that I look at who created it, and Yo Larson is another human like Ben that just wants to, it takes more value in doing something different for the surprise effect than make sure you're playing the better deck. Like, there's other combo decks, even like Goblin, that you have a 1-card combo. This is, you still have to find 2 cards.
There's a Neoform combo deck too. The Page stopping that one is tough.
Yeah, exactly. So I do like that deck a lot more than Rogues, that's for sure. But, all right, great questions, everyone. Keep them coming in. We're going to get back to the battling.
Real quick, Hysteus did say they accept payment in channel points, and they'll be awaiting them.
Okay, sounds good, Hysteus. We love you. How's your hand?
Not very good. But I think it's a keep.
I think mine's a keep too, but it's pretty weak as well.
Okay, I'll lead on a Prospector.
Oh, prospecting. Okay, I got a farmland past you.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, soft to work I go. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I will go to 19.
You are 19. See, I went off to work.
Are you I believe you lifted it off the table. That means you're sacrificing
That's
it.
not how that
get that
works.
out of there. All right, so
any of this works.
I'm bringing Glacial Fortress back, and
I get Exilawade?
yeah, well, you're getting Baffling End.
Is there any reason for me to want Prospector in my graveyard? Just to stick it to you, I'm going to sacrifice it.
Wow, really rude. Okay, here you go. Really rude of you.
2 more.
Bang.
Houston,
17.
you're up.
All right. I have an island and a pass.
Attack for 2.
Bang, 15.
Mountain.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Okay. Do I want to do anything? Probably not. I will draw. I will play land and pass to you. A draw, go. I do love Azorius Control, though. Ever since that SCG where, what was it, Throne of Eldraine that just came out? ECD? That was Throne. No, that was Theros Beyond Death, right? Yeah, because that was like Birth of Melitus. Yeah, ever since that set came out and I got to, well, I mean, sick brag, got to win that tournament with Azorius Control. I didn't even do that great, to be honest. I think X and 5 or X and 4. But that was just so much fun, and it just brought me back to the good old Teferi Hero of Dominaria days.
I would like to play Herald's Horn.
Oh. Yeah, that resolves.
Okay, I'll name Spuzum.
Spuzums?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Goblin instead.
All right.
Seems better.
Fish.
Do I want to send this into a shark? You did reach for the pen.
The famous LSV trick.
I don't know if you're... Oh, the pen trick has been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah. It's good. Just pick it up. Be like, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you were pen tricking me. But I also... If I'm playing honestly, I don't think I was going to attack.
Oh, I'd pen trick you. If you think I wouldn't pen trick you, you're crazy.
Oh, I didn't say you wouldn't.
Oh, God.
I just didn't think you were.
Oh, sure.
Those are 2 very different things for me. No, I'm just going to pass.
Ugh, nice pass. End step. Yeah, we'll wait. Untap. Draw. I got a Teferi. I'm going to tick up. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to untap 2 lands, and I'm going to pass to you.
Upkeep.
Oh.
Reveal Prospector.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Okay.
Take 3 for a Shatter Skull.
Okay, 17.
And I'm assuming Corey has one of his pieces of 2-mana interaction. Essence Scatter, I can't do a whole lot about.
You could play non-creatures.
It's a little awkward. If Corey has Disdainful Stroke, it's a way better for me to just play the cheap cards in my hand. If Corey has Ether Gust, then I guess if I go for cheap cards and you have Gust, you get to Gust the Chieftain. If I go for big card, Gust is still very good. So Gust I can't really play around. If you have Scatter, it's better for me to go with cheap cards too.
Decisions for you, Mr. Ross Merriam. Choose wisely.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing about playing against Azorius Control, though.
Prospector.
There's just so many things to play around. That resolves.
Goblin Matron.
Zymatron? Yeah, that resolves.
And now, in order to play around Gust or the one Seal Away, I will be getting another Chieftain.
Okay.
So I will get another Chieftain and play it.
That resolves as well.
And declare tax.
Sure.
Is there any way I can only send 3 creatures at Teferi and still have it die through Seal Away? No, right? Because you just hit whichever chieftain is attacking it, and then Teferi only takes 4.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to guarantee kill Teferi through Seal Away, I have to send all 4 creatures at Teferi again, as opposed to being able to send 2 creatures at it and get in 6 damage. And you're at 15 right now.
15.
I will choose to try to get in the 6 damage. I'm going to send Matron and Prospector at Teferi and the Chieftains at you.
Okay, Teferi's dead.
You take 6, go to 9.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
End step. Cycle a sensor. That's probably not going to be great. Untap. A draw. I gotta land on a Wrath of God. Pass to you.
Upkeep. Horn chose Matron.
So good. So good.
Muxus
I got a stroke.
had the stroke,
Had it.
but also had the wrath.
Had it the whole time.
Play a Prospector.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
Untap.
Actually, nah, we're good.
Second for you. Okay. I am going to take 2,
Brings you to 7.
and I'm going to cast out Herald's Horn and pass to you.
Oh, that punished me.
Get that horn out of here. That card is real nice.
Play Matron.
Okay, that resolves. That resolves.
I'm going to find a... Yeah, Goblin Ringleader and cast it.
Ringleader. That one doesn't resolve.
So you're going to go to 10.
Yep.
And I'll attack for 1.
I'll go to 9.
Pass the turn.
Untap. I gotta land and pass. Draw go, draw go. That's all that I will do. Do love a good old-fashioned control deck, though. It makes sense when mid-range is just by far the best deck, that a control deck would be good, but in Historic, where there's so many powerful things, I didn't think it was really possible, you know?
Come on and slam.
No blocks.
Take 2.
Okay. 7.
Chandra.
Torch of Defiance. Oh, can't beat that card.
You go to 10.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Alright. Untap. Alright. I got a Teferi.
Yep.
Draw a card. Untap. Pass to you. Do.
All right. 5 to Teferi.
5 to Teferi. Alright. It's dead.
Attack for 2.
Your mountains aren't supposed to be able to kill my stuff. That's not cool. I'm down to 8.
It's a nice little bonus.
Yeah, right. Alright, untap, draw. Gonna start with a cycle.
Like that.
Okay, that's not the worst, I suppose. I got a Graph Digger's Cage. Stop some shenanigans, and then I just have a land pass.
Play castle and attack.
No blocks.
Activate castle.
Yep.
Activate castle.
All right, down to
6.
2.
You can go.
Go in the distance. I got a wrath. Then I'll pass to you.
Chieftain.
Resolves.
Attack for 2.
Dang it, you got it. You saw the line.
I should have played the other goblin. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, Snoop, there it is. That would have been a good
I
one.
was just so surprised it resolved.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, would have gotten blown up by a Shark Typhoon or Seal Away. If I played the other goblin, then we're good.
Yeah, Shark Typhoon there would have been a nice draw, but yeah, a few too many lands at the end. But you pressured Teferi every time that I played it, and that was
the important thing.
That was the big thing.
I played into the Wrath the first time, got to hold the Shatter Skull, as opposed to trying to not commit as much into the Wrath. But then the Shatter Skull made sure I could deal with a Teferi that came later.
Totally agree.
And if you're able to deal with the card advantage engines, then the blue deck is eventually going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
And you can kind of limp over the finish line like you saw with just various 1/1s and Castle Embereth.
Yeah, because Goblin has a lot of card advantage as well. With Snoop and the Horn, it's pretty impressive.
That's been the name of the game for Goblins for years.
Yeah.
Ever since people were viling in Matrons and Ringleaders and Extended and Legacy. Grinding out and killing you with different 1/1s and stuff. So Castle Embereth is really nice for that plan to turn those 1/1s and 2/2s into slightly bigger threats, give you something to do with that extra mana as the game goes along.
Yeah, and I was thinking I could have wrathed a turn earlier, but you don't have the second castle, so it was only 4 damage. So I was hoping you would put a little bit more out there, but maybe I could have just wrathed there. Then I would have for sure saw one more card, would have got to the shark, but the Snoop there I think would have been probably a little bit too much for me to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, so going to game 3, Rob, do you happen to have a question for us?
I do have one. Ryan HMTG wants to know, do you think Autumn's version of Goblins is good for ladder play, or is it better to play a Turbo Muxus version?
I think that was just the best version, to be honest. I think they, put so much time into building a good deck. It was for this specific metagame. So I think the ladder is going to be basically the Pro Tour metagame right now. So I think it's pretty strong for it right now. Yeah.
I agree. I don't think the Turbo Muxus versions of Goblins are particularly good because everyone's prepared to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And they know your tricks. So having that secondary grindy game plan supplemented by Herald's Horn is a really important aspect of the deck. It really helps it out in matchups where your opponent is prepared to stop your Muxuses. So
it's Muxai. I think we figured out is the plural version of Muxus. And one touching on that though, one really good lesson that I've learned just as just from playing so many tournaments right after big events is the ladder and the tournaments that are right after Pro Tour or Mythic Championship or whatever. The metagame is those decks. And I've always think people are really going to level. No, it's people are playing the decks that are in the top 8. People may play some of the decks that were in top 16. So the one thing I'm going to be doing for this weekend's historic events, for the SCG events, is just try to level the top 8, right? There's going to be a lot of AZORIUS control. There's still going to be a lot of Brad Nelson and Andrea's Sultai lists. Autumn's Goblins is going to be packed up. I don't know exactly what that deck is, but that's the goal, is to just strictly metagame for the top 8 of the last weekend's big event. And that usually will get you somewhere. But otherwise, people are going to play the hot new toys that they just watched all weekend. It's just human nature to want to play what you just saw. So that's a good lesson whenever there's a big event like this.
Don't level yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to be doing that. And just in case you're wondering, Corey, it's only a certain subset of nouns that end with the US that come via Latin that get pluralized with the I ending.
Oh, I wasn't wondering, though.
Just in case.
Okay, just in case. Thanks, buddy. You're always looking out for me, just in case.
Not necessarily looking out for you as I am looking out for areas in the show in which I can over-explain mundane trivia.
Yeah, that does sound like your bread and butter, really. All right, I'm on the play for this last game. I'm going to keep, but this hand is not great.
This is the best hand I've had so far.
Ooh, lucky. Okay, pass to you.
Mountain.
Go.
Indeed.
Good hand, dude. All right, I have a Hollow Fountain tapped, and I'll pass to you.
No sensor.
I'm cycling it. Snoop,
Good.
there it is.
Well, I'm going to play mine.
Okay.
You're up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, I have an island and a pass.
I have a castle and a chieftain.
That resolves.
I will attack for 2.
All right, I'll take it. 18.
You're up.
I have a castle and a pass. Castle pass.
I have a mountain and a snoop.
Snoop, there it is. Yeah, that resolves. Play with that revealed, you cheater.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I will play another chieftain.
Another chieftain? Oh, that's pretty strong.
I thought so.
Dilemmas. All right, that resolves.
And I will smash into the red zone.
I'm going to make a 2/2 shark.
That doesn't effectively block anything.
It really doesn't.
Are we chump blocking the 4/4?
I'm debating. I might not block at all.
I like debates, because debates probably means I'm not getting wrath.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
So this is an easy spot to get aggressive in, because if Corey taps out for wrath, I have a Chandra next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my chieftain play was informed by the top of my deck here.
I am just going to take it.
Ooh, nice little 10 ball.
A nice little 10.
You're at 8.
I'm at 8. All right. I have a land and a pass to you.
And now I'll draw. Still no goblin on top.
A mountain.
Would have been nice to see the one Cranko I left in there.
Oh, yeah. That always feels like cheating. That always feels like cheating.
So, this is an interesting spot, because if Corey chooses... If I just attack with my 3 creatures right here, and all Corey does is put Shark in front of the Snoop, I can activate Castle and show lethal. There's only one seal away that I would have to be worried about.
Come seal away. That you know of. We could have been lying to you this whole time.
Could be making another Shark here, which would be pretty good. That actually makes a lot of sense if Corey's play there. So he makes the Shark the previous turn, doesn't block with it, so you can make a second Shark, block the 2 chieftains, take 4, and then both chieftains will die.
Possibility. The possibilities really are endless.
That would put him at 4, though, and then I would just be able to, play Chandra and put him to 2, and which I think is fine. I would then, have Corey at 2 with a Chandra in play. So not really worried about that. Another seal away, or the one seal away, would be awkward, because then you seal away Chief, block the other one, and take 2. And then still have mana up for interaction. That's the worst case scenario, I think. You're on 6 cards.
I got a lot of them. They're all medium, because that's my whole deck. Collection of medium
What
cards.
if we just attack with Snoop and 1 chieftain? That sort of prevents the biggest blowout scenarios and still applies a good amount of pressure. I like that.
Okay, I will make a 1/1 shark. I will draw a card.
Yep.
I will block each of them. I'll block the 2/2 here.
Sure.
1/1 there. Shark, 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 shark.
I've not played a land this turn. gonna sack the Mind Stone.
Okay. That's another mountain on top.
Play land for turn.
Okay.
You have 6 cards in hand.
I got 6 cards.
There's no... Gotta have something here. The problem is, like, now you set up to have, like, 2-mana interaction, and if I don't play anything into it, you get to go land Wrath, still hold it up. So, yeah, I'm just gonna slam the Chandra into your obvious Disdainful Stroke.
Yep.
Could have been Gust, too, I guess.
Yep. I got a Wrath. Pass to you.
And show me the other 2-mana interaction.
I got another one. Yeah, I had Shark, double Disdainful Stroke, Wrath there, so I could have Wrath, and then let you Chandra, but then exactly like you were saying, I would have been very dead. So I just wanted Shark to just buy some time, and then Wrath with 6 mana, so then I'd have Stroke. That was the game plan.
Yeah, so I guess I could have attacked with everything. You probably still would have just made 1/1 Shark there and taken 3.
Taking 3, yep.
Yeah, I don't think
I liked your thought process behind it, but in hindsight, that's
Yeah.
what would have happened, but whatever. I got a Teferi.
Yep.
Draw. I have a land, and then I'll untap 2 lands and pass to you.
Okay, show me an Absorb.
I don't have it. But in response, I will cycle. It resolves. Oh god. Muxus.
Just put 6 goblins on the table.
Yeah, please do.
I've got 3, but no haste, so the problem just dead to another Wrath, which seems pretty likely.
Okay.
That will let me attempt to kill the Teferi. So let's sack Crater Maker for a red, sack Prospector for a red,
Okay.
play Chieftain.
You gotta tap that mountain there, cheater.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I guess this is actually just lethal on you if you don't have the Seal Away. So go to Declare Tax.
Sure.
The Muxus is only going to get to a 7, so I can't show lethal on Teferi and lethal on you because of the damage I forewent on the previous turn.
Mm-hmm.
If you were at 3 last, say I could just do this, you'd be forced to Seal Away here. I guess if I dealt 3 more damage, you would just be dead because the Seal Away wouldn't let you live.
That's true.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I'm just going to try to kill you, especially with the Shatter Skull on top of my deck.
Yeah.
Send... let's send 1 at Teferi so I can definitely Shatter Skull it down next turn in case you have Seal Away.
Okay.
So let's send the Chieftain at Teferi.
I'll seal away this. No, you win. You're lucky. So lucky having that on top. But, I mean, you did have 7 looks at it, to be fair. But
I mean, I already went through 2, though.
Yeah. I think the game is mine if you do not have haste there. That's for sure,
Yeah, hit it on the very last possible card.
Yeah. How lame. Oh, yeah, because I'm narciting into Absorb. But, all right, well, it looks like Brad Barkley is probably better than me, or you're better than Autumn. So I think we know... I think we know what the true one is here. Or it's just you're so much luckier than everyone. I think that's probably pretty accurate, too.
Honestly, I think, no,
those are really close, though.
Yeah, those are close games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was important for me, actually, to not go try too hard to play around Wrath of God and instead make sure I was putting you under pressure so that I would force you to tap out on turns and maybe have windows to resolve key spells and to make Muxus even more threatening. So maybe that's a way that you have to approach the matchup and really prioritize being able to pressure them while still also having those sources of card advantage.
Definitely. It's got to be a little bit of both, yeah. So that's why I think Chieftain is just low-key like the best card.
Oh, yeah.
Against me, just can't stroke it. That becomes a little bit of a problem.
To a certain extent, that it was also due to the draws that I had. I didn't have a lot of early Herald's Horns. Just the one game where I had that. Drew a lot of chieftain draws, had draws where I had a lot of muxuses, so I was trying to force you to tap out so I could resolve them.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just the texture of my draw leading to those kinds of plays. But I think, being able to put you under pressure and make sure I end the game, because as much card advantage as Goblins has, the Azorius deck is going to be better going along.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, it's close, and that's what makes Goblins a good deck, is you also have a good, pretty robust late game. But for the most part, I'm going to be able to gain control of you with a Teferi or something like that.
The game gets to a point eventually where I can't do anything, where you have all of my aggression locked up, and there's no reach in this deck. There's no way to deal the last 2 points outside of combat. So you are trying to set up to be able to play a longer game and grind through some interaction, and especially Wrath of God, but you can't do that at the expense of putting pressure on your opponent, because if you give them too much time, they're eventually going to lock you out of attacking profitably.
100%. And I mean, the hand I kept was it was reasonable. I don't think you can mulligan it. It's just, but it wasn't great. It was just 4 lands, Disdainful Stroke, Double Wrath. Pretty good against the Goblin deck, but it definitely has holes.
Goblin Chieftain has a big Goblin Chieftain size hole.
Exactly.
3 mana.
Wrath only hitting non-hasty creatures. Yeah, Goblin Chieftain was the name of the game. There. And you just had 3 of them throughout the game, so that was pretty good. So
I punched through that hole pretty well.
Very nice. Okay, round number 1 going to Ross Merriam, upsetting what Brad Barkley did all weekend.
It's only an upset in hindsight of what happened to the tournament, but if you look at the history of Versus Live, it's not really an upset.
Yeah, and I cursed myself for saying that after game 1, so I think I should just have shut my mouth, and I think we would have been fine.
Getting a little rusty with the time off that we've had recently. You don't know how this works.
That's true. I've really messed that one up. Okay, so that's going to do it for round number 1 here, but have no fear, more Historic will be here. Next up, I'm going to be playing William Huey Jensen's Dimir control list with Torrential Gearhulk. I was in the testing team with Huey, just getting ready to be a commentator for the event to make sure I don't sound stupid, basically. I like to test with the team. And it was my favorite team meeting I've ever been a part of. It was just all of them saying what decks they're going to be playing the day of that they would submit decks. And they all go through their deck. Has Seth and most of the people are like, I like 4-color. Yol and Kai are talking about their Sultai combo deck. I'm just absorbing all the information. And then right at the end, he was just like, I really like Torrential Gearhulk. I'm playing Dimir Control. I don't, know if it's super good or anything, but that's just what I want to do. And he's like, I don't recommend anyone playing it. I am winning a decent amount, but I just really, really want to have fun with it. And then the whole group of 10 people are just like, well, should we play Dimir Control? And then
I too enjoy fun.
Everyone goes through and they're like, yeah, I guess it is pretty good against this. And then he was just like, what is wrong with you people? I just told you not to play this, and I'm playing it for fun. Yeah, it was quite fun, but he did well. He went 5-2 with it, and it's just a cool deck. It's really abusing Narset, Commit Memory, and Gearhulk. Those kind of combos just can really lock a person out. Yeah. Really cool stuff. What do you got up against us here?
I'm going to be playing a little Jund Sacrifice. Yeah. So, Mayhem Devil not going to be at its best here, but the Jund Sacrifice decks with, Collected Company and all these Graveyard Elements are pretty good at grinding. So always a fun matchup to be played. We're going to take a nice 5-minute break to get that match set up for y'all, and we will continue our historic show on Versus Live.
Hey, that's my line.